Against alleged July instigator Bonginkosi Khanyile has been postponed till Friday. Now, Khanyile says he wants to boost his defence team. The state is now accusing him of delaying tactics. Meanwhile, he maintains he is innocent. Our senior reporter Dasen Thathiah was in court today and he joins us now. Dasen, just give us a little bit of background about Bonginkosi because, of course, he's a former Fees Must Fall activist as well.
I think he's well known to our viewers, especially because he had featured many times, both for the protests of Fees Must Fall, but also for the court appearances that followed after. You'll also recall that he was convicted on that during that time, and he was placed under house arrest in 2019. And it was just after that, so in 2021, that was last year, that's what brings us to this matter. But I also want to make an important distinction here. So Bonginkosi Khanyile's arrest was among the first of those arrests that we saw for the July unrest, the first of those so-called alleged instigators that were arrested by police. And then recently we saw a second wave of those arrests with over 20 people that were taken in by police, and we've been seeing them appear in court. So these cases are at two different stages. Bonginkosi's was at the trial phase. During the pre-trial conference in February, both parties had indicated that they were ready to proceed, and today was the date that was meant to happen. But unfortunately, like you mentioned, it didn't happen. And that's particularly because the court says that, in fact, Bonginkosi Khanyile had left it too late to try to bolster that team. These changes should have been done earlier on. So what's happened now is that, in fact, he's been given a warning by the court that if he were to do this again, he may find himself in the unfortunate position of having to defend himself or possibly to use legal aid. And he won't have an opportunity to do this if he do it again. Let's listen now to what the NPA had to say about what transpired in court today.
The matter was set down for trial from today till the 26th of August. The state was prepared, and the prosecutor even went as far as to say that witnesses from other provinces were brought in for today for the trial to proceed. However, we heard from the Defence Counsel that, well, 2 points really. Firstly, that the accused in the matter wanted more time to brief counsel for his case, and secondly, and I think more importantly, he advised that he had received documentation from the state at a very late stage, which was only the past Saturday. However, the prosecutor in the matter did advise the court that the state had made several attempts from July to secure the attention of the defense, to provide them with what he mentioned was just 4 WhatsApp messages or clips, to discuss those with them and also to share various documents, and further to meet with them to ensure that whatever admissions could be made so that the matter can proceed, and also to speedily assist with the trial. The matter was postponed till Friday for counsel for the accused in the matter. However, the magistrate did make a mention of the fact that the matter needs to proceed and the defense should be prepared.
All right, talk to us, Dasen, about the fairly damning evidence, it seems, against Bonginkosi Khanyile. He's saying, despite that, he's innocent. Talk us through that.
Well, Khanyile has always maintained that stance that he hadn't done anything wrong. I think it's common cause now that he was in a video, and it's one of 3 videos that the state will be using to prove its case. It first came out in the bail application, and in one of those videos in particular, I think that would be the one that would be considered the most damning, especially in terms of the state's case. He's seen addressing a group of people near the Durban CBD, and in that video, he's telling these people that they need to continue on this path of destruction and for the cause of the former president, and to ensure that he is freed and nothing else happens to him. Now, when we spoke to Khanyile afterwards, and Khanyile has never been one to shy away from the media. Generally, you find that you don't often get people wanting to speak so freely, especially when they are facing a situation like this. But he used the opportunity to once again maintain his innocence. I even had the chance to ask him about his political affiliations. At some point, he was booted out of the EFF. He supported the former president. He's really been in many places, and he says, but that's free will. He's now with the Patriotic Alliance, and those supporters were there with him today. And he says that it really is his choice, his political affiliations, that is. But once again, he says that that particular video that video was not at the time of the unrest. That's his claim. But he wasn't able to fully answer whether he believed that even if it wasn't during the unrest, if it would have had some impact on inciting the type of violence that we saw. But let's listen now to part of that interview that we did with Khanyile outside court.
I think the attitude of the court, they are willing to use everything that we have seen you shaking your hand with the police. It means you are plotting something, because they are conniving. I'm telling you, there's no case there. There's no video of me carrying a rice or burning a mall. There's no video there me instructing people and say, my sister, go and burn that mall. Then you say you want to link it. But also, let me remind you, this unrest was not because of Bonginkosi Khanyile. Any sane person, any normal person in his brain who would believe that this unrest is because of Bonginkosi Khanyile, there would have been something wrong about you. That unrest was because they arrested former President Zuma through questionable methods, and they arrested him while people were under lockdown. And when people were under lockdown, their small businesses collapsed, others were swimming in a pool of poverty and hunger, and Zuma became a spark. Some people were looting rices there, they never even cared about Zuma, but they used Zuma as a spark.
And you did mention this at the beginning, that this case relates to an arrest for the July unrest of Bonginkosi Khanyile before what we saw happen last week with the arrest of, I think, 22, and then was it 3 more? Just give me the state of play on the most recent arrests.
Well, that's right. So the Hawks have been on a hunt to locate those that were part of a WhatsApp group. Now, Khanyile's arrest came last year, and he's charged with, apart from inciting violence, there are also charges there relating to the Disaster Management Act, because although it's easy to forget, we were still under COVID restrictions at that time. So that's what those charges are about. The current set that we are seeing in court, their charges are inciting violence, inciting arson. This is relating to calling on people to go out and destroy property, allegedly in a WhatsApp group or 2 WhatsApp groups that were created at that time. So the first of those arrests were what we saw last week. That was when the Hawks picked up a number of people, most of them from KZN, but some of them from other provinces as well. And that continued over the weekend. And it's expected to continue at least until about 84 people are picked up. That's what the investigation had pointed to initially. And we should see all of these people appearing in court right up until the 26th of August. And that's when they should appear as a collective and face these charges that the Hawks say they have against them.
All right, so quite a few people still to be rounded up. Thank you very much for giving us the whole picture. It's a really important detail and context that you've given us. Thank you very much. Dasen Thathiah, of course, is a senior reporter in KwaZulu-Natal. We've got plenty still to come. We're going to be